All right, once again, it's time for Off the Top Sportscast. I'm John, and that is Roy, and we're coming to you with another fun episode. Roy, we're just going to talk some sports topics today. I want to know, what do you feel about the Ohtani contracts?
Wow, that's how I feel about it. First, you think about making that kind of money, but that's not the only thing. Thinking about the amount of money he's making, but how he deferred the contract.
Yeah,
Very slicky. Now, was that slick on his part, or was that slick on the Dodgers' part? I think the Dodgers presented it to him. I don't think a baseball player would have came up with that on his own. I think the Dodgers said, "Hey, you demand so much money. You demand money. We can't, if we want to win a championship, we can't afford you. Point blank.
yeah,
But we believe you own that money. You're worth it. Technically, if you pay, 300 million to a pitcher and maybe 400 million to a bat, that's
right.
700 million.
Yep.
We think you're worth it. You're going to be around a long time. The problem is we can't pay you. So we're going to do this to give you, build your legacy, to give you multiple championships. We're gonna defer the payment, and we'll worry about it when we're rebuilding and Mookie Betts and everyone is done and they're all gumming it on the bench. Well, then we'll worry about paying you the money. But by then, we have made millions of dollars.
Yeah, so it's pretty interesting what he did. He basically said, I'll take my money when I stop making endorsements, which will be at the end of my career. You know what I mean? I think it's interesting he's not getting any interest. I don't know what his benefit to him really is, other than the fact that he's not wasting the money. But it's an interesting way the way he did it. It's kind of risky. He's basically telling his team, you go make your money, and I'll get my money later. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, so they can win championships. There's no salary cap, so it's just what money that they're willing to pay out. But he's a very unique guy, and that's the way that this works because of his uniqueness. There's the other Japanese pitcher that the Yankees are coveting, and we are going to be able to, he's going to have a visit tomorrow with us. What do you think about that young Japanese pitcher?
Again, don't ask me to say his name. I think it's Yamamoto, something like that.
I think so, yeah.
I think they're talking about over 300 for, I think, 9 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Now, what does that tell me, really? And kind of going back and forth. Is Ohtani a good move for the Dodgers? Is that a good move for baseball? Is this what's happening now a good move for baseball? Now, Yamamoto comes up. You're talking about a vicious team, the Yankees, right now. If you say, let's hold it right now, and he signs 1-2 punch with Cole, they got other pitchers behind that are coming. They're going to go 4.
Hopefully Rendon can come back and do something.
Yeah, we're going to have 4 straight pitchers. Rendon comes out good. We got these two. Who's going to be first, Cole or this Yamamoto? We don't know. I don't care. That's going to be a team that they almost don't have to bat because they're going to lock down 2 games easy with those pitchers. Mm-hmm. Now, the question is, okay, you got him for 9. You got Judge for, I think, 9 also, something like that. So then what happens with Soto? What did you do? What did you do with Soto? You got him for a year, and what are you going to do? Pay him $500 million for 10 years? I don't know if that's going to happen. So really, what do we have? We're going to have a fun year next year. That's what I see. If everyone says, again, LeMahieu playing third base, Rizzo playing first base, right there, 2 cornerstones. Are you telling me you got anybody better in the league? No, they're great. But they got to come back full strength, and they got to avoid injury. Who do you got in the middle? You got Volpe. You got Torres. No, Glaber. Yeah, Torres. Great. 2 good young guys. Glaber, if you talked about anybody last year, he did great.
Mhm.
Outfield, we're going to have a great outfield. The
Yeah.
problem is Judge is playing center field. Big guy running around. Yeah, could we maybe put another piece? Again, I think the Yankees are going to do this. I think they're going to trying to get Yamamoto. I think that's their number one priority. I think Soto is really an afterthought. We got Soto now. We got him a little bit on the cheap, and they're going to say, we could keep him. We could keep him. If not, we got Soto locked down, Judge locked down. We got Verdugo. We got some pieces. We still could do something with Glaber because he's really, where you talk about high value chip piece. We got the Martian still out there that could come up. So we have some kids out there that still could play some roles for us. The Yankees are going to say, hey, can we sign you? Can we sign you reasonably? Wonderful. If not, maybe, depending on where they are in the scheme of things, don't be surprised if the Yankees are not doing as good as they thought they should be, is when it gets later in the year and one of these championship teams for the run looking for somebody, that Soto go back on the market and the Yankees bring in a little bit of a haul for him.
If I'm looking at our roster, I believe you're right. Gleyber Torres is a huge piece of this puzzle because he's like 2 more years under control, right? This is what I foresee. I foresee Gleyber and Stanton getting packaged together and getting shipped out. Because you take that money for Stanton, because you start paying, you get a contract done with Soto. You bring up the young kid that was also a shortstop, who also played second base for us last year. I can't remember. Yes. I like the kid.
And we still have Oswald. He hasn't gone anywhere.
Cabrera, right. That's who I was talking about. No, I was talking about Peraza. Yeah, Oswaldo. I like Oswaldo. He's just not consistent.
Yes.
But I guess either way, because you could move DJ to second. You could have one of the kids at third. However you want to mix that. And you now have 2 young guys, Volpe and Peraza or Oswaldo Cabrera.
So think about it. There may be a team, Marlins, that would bring, again, some people.
How about the Angels? You need somebody behind Mike Trout.
Angels, yeah. It's true. It could be. I like that. I like that, trying to package him really 5 more years. No doubt if somebody took him, if he's making 32, they're probably going to tell the Yankees, we want you to play something like 10, 15 million of that.
Well, but you don't do that if you give him Glaber, because Glaber is the 2-year cheap deal that you're going to get the advantage, because you're not going to be playing Gleyber Torres, big money in the next 2 years. You'd have to pay him after that, but who says, you have to keep him or whatever? That's 2 years down the road. Baseball, 2 years down the road is like a lifetime.
That's a good point.
So right now, the Chicago Bears have a decision to make. Do they sign Justin Fields? Do they use the draft pick? Do they trade the draft pick? They have 2 probably going to be pretty high draft picks. What do you think about the Chicago Bears, Justin Fields draft pick triangle?
That is a triangle. The good thing I see, it's a good problem to have. Right now, they're looking at, and again, they change a little bit, but right now, Chicago, number 1 pick and number 5. Number 1 and number 5. They could do something slickeroony. They can go down and, let's say, Jets got number 9. Raiders got number 7. They could say, I'm going to give you a number 1, keep their number 5, drop 8. That's only if they're keeping Fields. Only if.
Right.
and pick up a lot more draft picks, because you could imagine if the Jets got the number 1, they'll be willing to give up the house. You know what I mean? For that number 1 pick. So Chicago could say, hey, I'll give you the number 1, but I want your number 9. I want your number 1 next year, because they're going to be again up there again next year and probably the year after that.
I think Justin Fields is a good quarterback.
Me too.
I think you cannot develop a quarterback with so many different changes at coordinators and coaches and philosophies and personnel. They just have had no stability for the kid. Me personally, I think I'm leaning towards keeping Justin Fields and trading back. I wouldn't trade back to 9. If number 2 wanted to come up from 1, I would trade to number 2.
Why would they do that? There's too many good quarterbacks in this. New England's number 2. They're not going to give you nothing for number 2. You're going to have to go deep. Washington. Let me go over just in case.
Or number 3.
Okay.
If number 3 wants to jump number 2 and get to the top pick to get the quarterback.
Well, number 3, just to let you know, so that you got number 3 possibly is the Cardinals. So the Cardinals don't want a quarterback. Very unlikely. What they want, I think they'll take the quarterback. You think so? I think they're going to take the stud receiver, because the Patriots and Chicago are sniffing quarterback. Harris is going to fall right in their lap at 3.
Yeah, Harris is the guy I would want to get. That's the thing about, if I'm Chicago, I want Harris. So if somebody is looking at quarterback, I would want to trade back a little bit and get Harrison, actually. But that's what I would be doing. And I would also be trading back just to get more picks in the later rounds. I'd probably trade my 5 back a little bit as well. And if I could trade back my 5 with somebody who has a couple of picks, because I'm after Harrison, I'm going offensive line.
Really? Okay. And there's a lot of big boys out there. There's a lot of offense. So this is the year of the offensive line. But maybe you could say quarterback.
I mean, they need to be able to protect him. They can't, if he's running around, when he runs, he needs to run with purpose, like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. He doesn't need to be running for his life, because that means he's running backwards to run forwards, and that's a bad place to be. You know what I mean? He needs to be running with purpose instead of being chased. That's the difference between running the ball and being chased with the ball. So I think that's what I would do.
So I think we both agree. I think Fields is a workable quarterback and probably could be dangerous in a system that had stability.
Right.
A little bit more, I would be looking at another offensive weapon. I would be going either, even though they have a tight end that's really serviceable, a really good tight end, young. You can look at the tight end from Georgia, double tight end set with this team. We'll give him a lot of time. That's the kid I like from Georgia. If not, let's go with the kid from either LSU or Florida State, wide receiver. Give him some studs that can spread it open. That brings fear to the safeties and the corners. I think that would be better off for Chicago.
The Alabama tight end, that's an interesting one. That'd be an interesting.
Or Georgia.
I mean, Georgia. Yeah. Georgia, that big monster. That'd be interesting. I mean, you'd have DJ Moore, you'd have Marvin Harrison Jr., and then you'd have that'd be a lethal combination. I like that.